if it isn't another week, another week of Hog HQ Live, sponsored to you by Hog Sports. And speaking of Hog Sports, it is official, almost official, right? We did a teaser. So we are officially going with a name change, right?
Hmm.
So the name change is basically going from Hog Sports to Hog HQ. And this is not only just a segment where we're live right now. And as you can see, there is the logo, the information right there. So just a little tease, like I say, it's new name, same thing, right?
Hmm.
Everything remains the same. You went from Hog Sports to the left and it transitioned to Hog HQ. And some may ask, well, what's the reason for the name change? Well, for some reason, well, I can say for some reason, we understand why. On this particular show, like I said, may not be the biggest platform, but we display a lot of information and information that gets to other people and other sources. So a lot of times when information gets dropped and they quote where they got the information from, it can potentially be confusing on which particular source you got it from. Some may say Hog Sports and say HAWG Sports. We never went out our way to just say HOG Sports, right? So with that being said, with the brand growing, we just saw it fit to make it a situation where, hey, if anybody identifies our group, they know it's us. It's only one Hog HQ and that's us. So that's the reason for the name change. And I'll let Matt and Adam dig into a couple more things why and what's on the logo.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's just to separate ourselves. I mean, I know for quite a while, I mean, especially as the group has grown, there's just that um, wanting our own identity. And I know, the spelling of the name was different from the other Hog Sports, but when you say it, it's just that's what a lot of people go to. So I think it was kind of time. We just hit 20,000. We're coming up on 5 years, so it felt like a good time to change it. We will keep our Hoghead logo throughout um, all of our graphics. All that's going to be in there. We'll have a new overall graphic after about a month or ish, but it's still going to be us. It's still going to be the same.
Matt?
Just a name change. That's it. We're just trying to deviate, like you said, and separate and just eliminate any confusion. And um, it's time. It's time to do it.
Yeah, it's time. So one of the things I want to add, you can pop that back up for me real quick,
Yeah.
please. All right, so guys, one of the things that we're taking notice to, once again, the brand is growing. So with that being said, you can look right, hold on right here as I'm pointing, and you can see the icons for the places where you can also find this content. So of course, you're looking at us now mostly on Facebook, but there is a YouTube page. There is a YouTube page. Please go like, comment, and share that particular page so we can grow the YouTube page. And it's on Instagram as well. So once again, that's Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. You can find Hog Sports. It's going to be formerly Hog Sports, turning into Hog HQ. So just make sure that you check those out. If you can't find us on live, and you can also check us out on your favorite YouTube. Make us one of your favorite YouTube channels or your IG page. Make sure to save us and follow us. And of course, we'll follow you guys back.
Yeah, the IG chain, like we've had the Hog Sports Instagram page for a while. I mean, there's only probably 11 or 1,100 followers on it. It doesn't get as much hype because there's not as much interaction, which I get. Um, but I'll be changing that name and that handle over as well to Hog HQ after this. So that's what we will be known as from here on out.
And Matt, you said you were going to do something like once we put it up and have it this particular look so people understand we're going from Hog Sports to Hog HQ. You said
Hmm.
what about a month time frame? And then you're going to say it's going to say what formally?
What after the show, we're going to officially post everything, make the changes, and the group name will say Hog HQ, and then in parentheses to the side, formerly Hog Sports, and we'll keep it that way for I don't know a month or so that everybody gets accustomed to the changes and the new name, so that they don't freak out and think they've ended up in some weird group or something that they're not expecting. And just look for the Razorback head. That's ours. And
Gotcha.
and that's our trademark, you could say.
Gotcha. And you had a particular quote, a motto you wanted to add with it, didn't you? I think it was dope. I mean, it sounds corny, but it's pretty dope, man.
All right. What was it? Your headquarters or your HQ for sports IQ is what I think I wrote down. So
Yeah. So if anybody else out there listening, think there's anything that they would think would be better, go ahead and drop it in the comments. We'll look into it and see if we can add it and give you credit for it.
And
All right.
everybody in the comments on Facebook, if you would give access to StreamYard so we can see your name over on our studios so we know who's commenting, that would help us
yeah,
from having to look at our phones to see who it is.
and
Yeah,
you can get a
because
shout out.
exactly. Because at the end of the day, when I read the comments, it just says Facebook user. So even though it may be you and it may be a great question, I can't properly give you credit for asking the question because it doesn't identify you by your Facebook name. So like I said, just
Yeah,
take time whenever you can, even after the show, and just go ahead and make it happen. So next time you get on, it'll give you full credit as far as putting your name present. All right.
And with that,
With
that's
that being said, we transition into basketball. Once again, we had a charity event that was was it Coaches for Cancer? Is this what
no,
it
it
is?
was the
no,
tornado
it's
Choose
relief.
Tornado Relief. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm mixing up the events. But we played Purdue and Walton Arena. Like I said, turnout, Coach Musk called it almost roughly 20,000 people.
Hmm.
So you mean to tell me the same amount of people that's in Hog HQ was at the
they were all there
yeah, absolutely. They was
except for
all
me.
there. Okay, except for you. Gotcha. Either way, so the Hogs ended up getting an overtime victory over number three in the country, Purdue, 81-77. Man, that was a hell of a game. It was a hell of a game. It was a way to spark the season off. The fact that you can play the number three team in the country and go to overtime, like you can't ask for anything better if you got a chance to watch the game. It was very entertaining. I got a chance to see a lot of guys that we heard about in preseason. And just be able to see these guys on the floor, it was remarkable. I'm finding new guys to start liking already. Of course, we like our favorites, the returning players. I want to give credit to one of the twin that's left. Look,
Mackay.
Makai. Hey, Makai. Okay, so you finally start letting them hang and start shooting that little mid-range jumper in the paint.
Like he was
Start getting
listening.
yeah, exactly. It's like he was listening. So I really like that effort from him because going against the big against Purdue is like, man, that's legit a tall task. Legit a tall task.
Mm.
So I think that was a great challenge for those guys. I definitely like Davenport. Davenport is becoming one of my favorites. And Ellis. I really like Ellis. And I like what Blocker did in his time on the floor.
Man, he
Those are
really
some of the
impressed.
guys. Absolutely. I mean, they did a hell of a job. I was looking like, man, this gonna be a hell of a season to watch, man. What you guys got on the comments in regards to the game?
It was nice to see, like, even though we didn't know like who was going to get the ball in crunch time, they weren't like worried about it. Before it was, there was the moving around. They were somebody was wanting the ball. There was
Mm-hmm.
no like they're not out looking for that one guy. It was just who's going to make the move, who's going to make the play. And so I think we already have seen this team gel a lot quicker than we have in the past.
Absolutely.
Versus, worrying about coming into SEC play and there's still all these questions. I yesterday took a big load off a lot of the questions when it came to how cohesive they're going to be.
Yeah. It looked like team chemistry wasn't a big of an issue. Once again, I do like all the passing, the extra passes being made. The fact that Ellis is able to give a head fake, he becomes a threat at 3-point line. Then he drives in and then dishes it out to the corner. And like I said, to see Davenport hit those threes and had a green light, that was just a good look. I like to see that. And do we have any word on Devo?
He's gonna be all right. He's fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Musk said after the game it wasn't a concussion, so we're just going to roll with that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Apparently, Edie had a big old knot on his head from it. So, it is. The thing I still look at was, I mean, I think I expected us to be out rebounded, but that's going to be one of my concerns in the future. But you just got to find other ways to beat them, which they did. And
Hmm.
then, we got to, I think the first half, we didn't shoot free throws. So, that was something that was kind of off, kind of weird, but is what it is.
Yeah. So the fact that Mark hit that big 3-pointer to really go ahead and close out the game, I'm looking like, man, this man is putting his name out there and putting himself in a position to be looked at to close out the game. You never know who it can be. We know Devo can be a closer. We like Brazil in the paint. Like I said, it's just interesting that guys are coming in to have experience in their previous stops where they feel comfortable and coach giving them the green light to go ahead and take these shots for the team. So that's huge.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting Mark to step up or be the person to step up in that situation offensively. I was expecting a lot of defense from him and some offense, but I wasn't expecting him to be the go-to in that situation, and that was really refreshing to have somebody come in and do that, knowing that we got other people that can do it. And so we may have several people that could win games or close out games for us in
Yeah,
different situations. Because I mean, L. Ellis technically could have won it on the layup at the end of the game. He just happened to miss it. We we should have won that game. It should have never went to overtime. We played sloppy in the beginning. Had some errant passes on fast breaks, but easily fixable, coachable things and situations. Um, I really like this team. I've been excited about them since March, really, and I kept talking about them until July or so. Whenever Harris and Lawson were the last two additions,
right. I remember that.
I've been ready for this team. They really got a chance to do something. I think we really can make it to the Final Four this year.
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
seen two. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna get to some petty sides of things that you know uh, the Twitter world, if you will. I saw there was an account that's called Boiler Burner,
Hmm.
and it's I'm gonna assume just Purdue super fan. There was a lot of they posted their like post game recap reaction whatever, and there were some good things, and then they would follow almost everything up with like these backhanded comments.
Hmm.
um they would talk about the crowd and how it was preparing Purdue, for the tough environments in the season, but then they kept going back trying to say that it was our Super Bowl. That's why we put 20,000 fans in there, is because it was our Super Bowl. And
No,
I'm like,
that's just how we
Hold
show
up.
up.
Yeah, that's what we did. They lost to Little Rock a couple years ago. Shut the hell up.
they lost the first round of the NCAA tournament last year.
Right.
They were a first number one seed and they lost to a 16 seed.
I
I
do
forgot
remember
about
that. Now
that.
that you
But
say
Yeah.
that, yeah.
but I'm just like, it was for charity, and that's just Bud Walton Arena's environment and atmosphere. So
Facts.
um, I just saw it and I'm just like, come on now. And of course, I mean,
Yeah.
Hog Twitter got on them after that. So
I was listening to to Matt Painter, the Purdue head coach, right before we started, and I was listening to him. And the narrative the whole time was about the fans
The
and the
environment.
noise and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, the environment. Thank you. For Purdue, that was a narrative to help them and whatnot. And he led off the interview talking about that, and then he starts talking about how it's a Big Ten environment. Oh, it's a Big
mhm.
Ten environment. It's just like ours. I'm like, well, if that's the case, then why the hell are you selling that our fans are going to be that good? We're just
Right.
talking out both sides of your mouth here.
Right. At the end of the day, like I said, shout out to Muss for even planning this event on a bye week. Like, how genius was that, right? You think a lot of times, like, man, it's a bye week. A lot of people gonna be in town, be around to go to the game. Dude, that was a hell of a turnout on bye week, man. That was a
Well,
hell of a deal.
yeah, and on top of that, I mean, we had two signees or two commits already haven't signed yet, and then
Hmm.
another 7 or 8 or recruits that were in the building.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things. He used that as, yeah, this is an exhibition game. It's a charity event, but we're going to get all these 25 and 26 recruits in the building.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, Pittman, that's how you recruit. Okay, look, real quick, looking at these comments, I see two comments in regards to Chandler Lawson. Said the Chandler Lawson proved that he belonged and was ready for the moment. Must praise him post game. Another great addition from the portal. And shout out to MC, that's Marcus. I thought Lawson contained Edie as much as possible. Edie had acquired 15 of 9. Hey, man. Lawson was a hell of an addition, man. Like I say, his impact. The fact that Muss has these guys already thinking defensively and thinking that their offense is defense, defense is going to create your offense. Man, it's a hell of a situation going to go on this year, and I'm excited to see what these guys can bring to the table, man.
Yeah,
Um,
Ellis has got to get his. Was it Ellis that missed the 4 free throws? Of course, he came into the
No,
clutch.
that was
Who was?
Mark.
that
Was it
was
Mark?
Mark.
He
Okay,
had missed 3 in a row. I know
that's what it
that.
was.
But he hit the biggest shot that counted the
He
most.
did.
Hmm. You made it for
So,
it.
yeah, it's one of those things, man. People just got to get comfortable in their roles and figuring out what's what. So it was definitely a hell of a situation.
But yeah, you touched on Layden Blocker, and I mean, he reminds. I mean, home state kid, or is he from home state, or
Hmm.
is he or Kansas?
I think he's
Ooh,
from. Well, I
blocker.
don't know where. I don't know where he's born, but I know he's.
One or the other. But I just see him like he's got the Devo Davis kind of heart intensity in him, and I think that'll
Mm-hmm.
continue to grow as he gets further into his career at Arkansas. But you know, he's got flashes of brilliance already, and his quickness is off the charts.
Yeah.
So you know, that's guard wise. I mean, there are no concerns, in my opinion, guard wise on this team.
I think one of the biggest things that you may not see front and center right now is the depth. The perimeter depth, the fact that you look around with Muss recruits guys, you be like, he's just gonna keep recruiting 6'6", 6'7" dudes who can, guard anybody. And it pays dividends. Like I said, when you got a 6'6" guy with this long wingspan that can shut down a whole guard and make him just eliminated from the floor and make the pass to the rest of the team, that just takes one guy out of the whole possession every time you go down. So it's just amazing how this guy plans for getting these guys with these long wingspans that are great, have great intensity on the defensive end. They can go ahead and check guys out of the whole game and just eliminate a whole person out of the game, man. Like I said, anybody on the perimeter, he's going to make you throw it into the post. My only concern is how well we will play if you have two bigs in the post. Tennessee got like a foreign exchange team or some shit. Every year, it's a bunch of dudes from another country. I don't know where the hell they come from, but Tennessee got a bunch of damn dudes from another country, and they be balling. I'm not like, who
Yeah,
are
they're
these
good.
dudes, bro? They good as hell every year, and they run a hell of a system. So when we play Tennessee every year, I just look forward to the matchup because they got some athletic bigs, man. And like I said, the time we played UConn and got dominated in the paint, I'm just interested to see what we look like against two bigs in the paint and see if we can spread and start to get those outside shots up and become a threat on the perimeter.
And
Hmm.
did anybody feel like so listening to the? I don't know if y'all watched or listened on the radio or what,
Both.
but for Manny Watkins to be a former Razorback guard, he was trying extra hard to be like Purdue bias to the point that it was a bit ridiculous. And then when they showed Dusty Hannahs and started talking about them, he got a little bit salty. And he wanted to
Mm-hmm.
throw out there that he led the team in 3-point percentage his senior year, not Dusty. And I was just kind of like, dude, you're trying way too hard here. And he's going to call the majority of our home SEC network games.
Yeah. Now see, we need to bring back what's her man name? We bring back Matt Jones. Put Matt Jones back out there.
Well, who was it? There was another former Arkansas point guard, Kiko Haidar. He was doing it
Yeah.
for a while.
They were. I think they were in like. I don't know if you want to call it competition or whatever in the very early stages of
Mhm.
them doing that, and I think Manny ended up winning the
It
contract,
happens.
if you will, the job.
Interesting.
So, I mean, it's just like you see like the announcers, and you're like, oh, we got an Arkansas guy, and then it's just, well, the effort by Purdue, blah blah blah, and it's just like, come on, man,
Hey
like give
man,
us some credit.
let's be clear. We all work a job somewhere outside of what we're doing right here. You know somebody at your job who kiss ass to keep going moving up. It's always somebody. You looking like, man, you doing the most to kiss ass to get to the next level. It's unnecessary, really. Just do your job, bro. It'll show up.
Yeah.
What else you got, man? Straight on the mark.
I think that's all. I mean, basketball wise, it's I don't
I
even
mean,
know.
yeah, we got Alcorn State coming up on the 6th, I believe it is.
Yeah, and that's
Their
one thing
opener.
too. People need to be aware since this game did not count exhibition game. We play some nobodies our first 4+ game, whatever, before we
Don't,
go.
don't say that.
No, what I'm getting at though is even if we win those games because of the strength of those teams, if you will, we could drop in rankings even if we win.
But and the reason why I say that, I'm jokingly saying it. But people just wait. I ain't gonna say people waiting. But if we lose any game,
Oh,
I'm like I said, I made a joke saying anybody want to jump on the fire Muss bandwagon. Somebody gonna start complaining about Muss and his coaching style if you
mhm.
lose any game. So I'm just like, when you say nobody, it's like, well, Adam said there were nobodies, and all of a sudden we lose to them and Muss needs to be fired.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, they need to
but
look at too. I mean, like that Lipscomb team or Lipscomb, whatever. I mean, they were in the tournament last year.
yeah, lipstick.
That's the
So
North Little Rock game.
yeah. So you never know with basketball.
Is the Alcorn game? Is the Alcorn games? Is it televised?
Every game from here on out is either streaming or on TV.
How can I
Yes.
watch?
It's up in the featured section.
And where's
Where's
the feature
that?
section? Yeah,
At the
where is
top,
it at?
the top of the group.
Well, when I signed
What's the
on,
name of the group?
I,
Wait. Boom. There we go.
all right, boom. So either way, like I said, the feature section. So anytime we're making jokes, we're being funny because every week somebody asks how to watch, and it's a whole damn post. It's in the feature section, and people still just miss it. So that's why I'm making a joke about it. But
Well, and then the beginning of every week, there's the game week post, and then the day of, there's the game day post. Plus, I don't know. I'm just the type of person that's like, hey, if I ask this question in the group, am I going to get ridiculed for it when I could just go to Google or the Arkansas Razorback app or ESPN or Bleacher Report or the Score? I mean, I guess I'd rather not ask a question that I'm going to get bashed for or smart ass comments, or it depends on what kind of mood though, because DP will answer your smart ass comments.
absolutely. And with that being said, today's episode is brought to you by
Oh
Little
my,
Debbie Christmas tree cakes. Look,
the
it's
same
the
thing as zebra
most
cakes.
wonderful time of the year. These are my favorite damn snacks, man.
So you took a
Yeah.
zebra cake and you painted it like a tree.
Don't be jealous, bro. Don't be jealous, bro. Look,
Okay.
we love, and they got the little sprinkle on it. Oh man, that's the best shit ever, dog. Every year, I gotta get these. I'm on my
Hey,
second box.
hey, a friend of
I'm
mine
a.
from junior high and high school has a barbecue truck in town, and they got deep fried Christmas trees
Oh, wow.
with
See,
powdered
you're going too
sugar.
far. You're going too far.
Are
It's
they
going
though?
too far. I don't know if it's selling. Let them make their money. I ain't mad at it, but I'm looking like this is a national treasure. It's the most wonderful
Hey,
time
we start
of the
start
year.
putting up a bunch of videos on them on like TikTok and get them to send you like a whole care package and
I don't have a TikTok, sir. I'm not a tiki taki. I think that's for kids. Even though I have seen some adult content on there, if you know what I mean. But I don't have a TikTok, so
that's
I don't
where
know anything
people's
about this.
attention span has gone.
That's what I
Is
hear.
you know down to those under a minute videos.
Gotcha.
So basketball. I mean, basketball wise, it's I mean everything's all good at the time being. What is that one?
This is
You're just all about Christmas time, aren't you?
well. See, this is the thing. This is one of the greatest companies in the world. This is made by Coca-Cola. Have a Coke today. Anyway, so this is the winter spice cranberry. The ones that know, they know, man. It's kind of like how every year pumpkin spice come out and it's pumpkin spice everything. Yeah, we do this thing once a year at Coke, and everybody gets it. So yeah, just get on board, man. Don't be
Yeah,
such a Scrooge.
the thing they should have done is got rid of Sprite Remix.
I did like Sprite Remix.
And I'm
Every,
sorry, Tropical Sprite just doesn't hit the same as Sprite Remix did.
well, that's probably in your younger days when you were pouring up promethazine or something.
What?
Listen to sipping on scissor. So yeah, we'll leave that in the past.
All right. So if we want to move to football talk,
All right.
uh,
Yeah.
So this week, November 4th, we are playing the University of Florida, the Gators, right? It's going to
mhm.
be in Gainesville. I guess I get you. I'll let you guys know. I'm still waiting on information in the next 2 days to see if I got tickets to that game. I may be in the building for Gainesville to go to that game. I thought it was supposed to be a night game initially, but I seen you had posted supposed to be 11 a.m. game.
Yeah, I think the thought was both teams would be in a different um, state right now of
Hmm.
programs, which I mean, Florida's not terrible, but and then wearing the blackout uniforms that they announced before the season, I think everybody just that's what the thought was going to be, and
Gotcha.
then with the matchup and the way things have gone, they're like, nope, we're throwing y'all on at 11 a.m.
Gotcha. So early riser, early riser. So with that being said, I watched the Florida game this past weekend.
World's
The lot
biggest cocktail party.
is that what is now politically correct called?
Well, they've changed the name, but that's what it was or should be known as. Or
Absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
all right. The biggest tailgate in the world. Anyway, so they got blown out. They got served. They came back, had a late little surge. But it was interesting. It was interesting to see them play and see how we've been playing on our better games, even though we lose those games. Let's kind of see how we will match up. I guess the only thing I'm concerned about is looking at on the edge speed. I didn't see. I feel like up the middle, the defensive line can at least slow down things so the linebackers can make plays. I look for Landon Jackson to show up once again and increase his draft stock and make some big time plays against the Gators. The quarterback for Florida, clearly, and Georgia's not even a team that I consider a great defensive line team. I got to give credit where credit is due. Texas A&M got the best defensive line in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
It's Texas A&M, then it's Alabama. And I think I'll probably throw in Tennessee, Georgia, or Georgia, Tennessee. But either way, I don't look at Georgia as a big defensive line type of team. But they were putting pressure on the guy and getting him off his spot and let him make some bad decisions. So I'm looking for our guys to come back fresh off of bye week, be refreshed, be rejuvenated. I'm sure Coach had gave them some spirited talks about making a run towards the end. And the only goal at this point is to get a bowl. It's to try to get some type of bowl to get the 6 wins. So I'm pretty sure those guys are gonna be fired up. Hopefully we got some guys back on the health side of things, and been able to put some guys in place. Hopefully we get to see Nudie back as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the offense. I think you're going to get a really excited offense that's going to put their best foot forward. They didn't have a problem with Enos. Um, they had a problem with practicing certain plays and not running those plays, or those plays not being called in the game. Um, they they they're going to fight. They really love Kenny Guyton, and they're gonna go all in for KG and Coach Pittman because they absolutely love Coach Pittman, regardless of what people may think or say or whatever.
Hmm.
They love Coach Pitt, and he should. He's a good guy.
Hmm.
Um, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how much of a role Pittman has maybe in the difference of this. If he had a handprint on the pass or not, because Enos was a big flop, and this was actually pointed out to me earlier, and I thought this was a great point. Each person that Pittman has hired that was a buddy flopped.
Yeah, yeah.
Each person that he has brought in that was not a buddy has been pretty successful.
Hmm.
Kendall Browse was pretty successful. Yeah, we all got our complaints, short yardage and all that stuff with him, but overall, he was pretty successful. His fast play style will mask some bad offensive line play, you know. So, and then when you have somebody that's has slower developing plays like Enos, you're going to really get exposed with your offensive line or bad technique.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I look for these guys to make a push. I'm looking for a rejuvenated team this upcoming week. A different type of emphasis on getting things done. Like I say, talk about tempo. I look at it at the end of the day, as long as it took Enos to line up guys, it gave the defense more time to identify what they were doing. So, like I say, even if there was a weakness on the Browns, You could rarely see it because you had so much motion and it was so many plays being ran back to back. So, and that was one of the other things that was interesting about it. So, to be honest with you, as much guys complained about it last year, I wouldn't be upset about a reverse. If I see Satania have at least 7 carries or 7 targets, I'm excited. I'm excited. No matter what it look like, at least they understand to get this guy involved because the later you get into the season, the later guys start really looking at their potential to be here next year and start considering the portal. So that's
These
one of the
last
things that
four
consider.
games for that reason are huge to
Hell
keep
yeah.
these guys from okay, get out of the mind. Like Enos is gone, so take these next 4 games as a fresh start, and get yourself prepared. I mean, I would rather guys not jump ship,
Hmm.
and I think that
Mm.
moving on from Enos was probably one of the big ways to keep the offensive guys.
Yeah, I remember. And I remember throwing out a name, Davion Dozier. It's one of
Mhm.
the receivers that came in late. He was one of the last couple guys to come in. But they would talk about him once he started getting acclimated to the system, and would talk about, hey, he's a guy that could potentially help us this year. This is the time where these true freshmen can actually play 4 games and still maintain their redshirt status. So it's going to be key to just throw guys out there who have shown what they can do in practice and give the opportunity to do it in the game. It's going to be huge. And like I said, I feel like if you get a win here, you start building confidence. And every week you just build confidence, especially going to the homecoming. I feel like that'll really give guys a uptick of confidence to go into the last little spread of games. And just try to give it the best shot. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and shoot for this bowl game.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
you're not.
I
Go
don't I
ahead. Go
don't
ahead, Adam.
know where. I'm not trying to be like Debbie Downer on the rest of the season. It's just you kind of get shot on the whole thing. I try not to be like overly pessimistic, but I'm not going to be optimistic. I just hope they come out and show some improvement and show some changes for Sam Pittman and for Kenny Guyton, because I
Right.
think this is kind of Guyton's interview, if you will, for potentially whether it's at Arkansas or somewhere. Because I know like Matt, we've talked about that. Um, the receiving wise, a lot of these guys are here because of Guyton.
Mm-hmm.
And so even for next year, Crutchfield coming in. What are you giggling
Mm-hmm.
at over there?
I was, when you said, yeah, me and Matt talked, I was gonna say, oh, you guys talked extensively about it. I was just,
You and me talked more than anyone.
yeah, I know, but the whole we talked extensively behind the scenes.
Hey, it's cool.
Yeah.
Y'all's the show notes. I got left out on, so y'all are
Oh,
phasing me out of this thing.
oh man, that's hilarious. Oh, if you know, you know, man. If you know, you know. Check last week's show, man. Yeah, go ahead.
How did the Cardinals come back? Okay, sorry.
Oh, the Ravens are losing. Interesting.
No, they're up 31-24. Thanks.
Oh, okay. We
Did
lost
Anyway,
anybody
our game.
watch? Did
We
anybody
lost.
watch the Tennessee? I'm switching back to basketball, but
no, you're
did
good.
anybody watch the Tennessee Michigan State exhibition game?
I saw
No.
some like brief highlights on it.
Because I checked the score and they were blowing out Michigan State, and both of them were ranked. It was kind of like a Purdue Arkansas type of matchup.
I
So,
did see that Alabama lost to Wake Forest,
mm-hmm.
Mm.
so that's always a good thing to see. But
Yeah.
it's weird to me. Like I've looked at the several of like the preseason like prediction or the predictions for the SEC, and I am I just blind to Texas A&M for them getting put up so high on a lot of preseason predictions?
Maybe they paid for the ranking. Who knows? But I don't know who they have that's worthy of saying, or who they have returning that's worthy of saying
Yeah.
Not
these
Ethan
guys deserve to be
Henderson.
as high. What's my man name? No,
And
he
KK.
left too.
KK
Yeah,
KK's at
Robinson's
Little Rock.
he's in
yeah,
Little
he
Rock
left.
with
Exactly.
Mikael
So
Mitchell. So
right.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't see it. It's one of those things, man. Somebody just knock off and then say, "Oh, you beat a team that was highly ranked," but then you look at it and say, "Well, the quality of the win wasn't that big of a deal." So it's one of those
No, they
things.
were trying. I mean, we saw Devo and Edie smack heads. That tells you everything you need to know about that game. It meant a lot to both teams.
Yeah,
I,
the Hogs
that
did a great job making it extremely difficult getting a clean entry pass to Edie. They played behind the 8 ball in that department all afternoon. Yeah, they did. They really did. That was Jason.
Yeah, that was one thing that because I know one of our admins, Zach, he was on Twitter before the game, ruffling the feathers of some Purdue fans, and he was predicting that ED would have under 10 points in Arkansas win. So he almost had it till the end. ED started making some baskets at the end,
Mm-hmm.
but him being in foul trouble early on helped us out a lot to keep him off the floor.
Yeah.
I'll be curious too. Like, we're going to see the rotations. We're going to see multiple guys in and out. But, are we going to see when is Musk going to go to that 7, 8 guys? Come SEC back, or is he going to extend it just a little bit because we do have so many guys?
But I think we say that every year because we feel like some of the guys who have shown promise,
Mm-hmm.
they deserve to be playing. Like people ask a lot of times, like, why isn't KK in the game? We realize he can shoot three that well, and nobody else can shoot three at that time. It's like, why can KK's not in the game, or why come Pinion not in the game as much? So I think it's one of those things where he's going to stick to 7. Maybe, yeah, I think it's just going to be 7. I mean, every year we look at it and say, well, okay, who would you do at your starting lineup? And it's hard to call him a starting lineup before he actually
Mm-hmm.
gets to you, because guys show so much promise. And at some point, you start realizing this happens every year. This guy's going to leave. Like, he hasn't played. He showed a lot of promise in the beginning of the season or midway and getting playing time. Somebody had an injury. But once you realize the regular rotation, he's not playing. Like, for that reason, I'm interested about Graham. I'm interested to see if we'll see Graham all year long at all, even when he's healthy. I'm really interested in figuring it out because I do like his game, and I feel like he needs to gain that confidence. I feel like he has gained the confidence since that time frame of last year, mid last year. So I'm just interested to see if he'll ever get on the floor in that
Well,
regard.
and he was one I was surprised came back, but I figured, the reason he did was conversation between him and Muss.
Hmm.
Because, we would see there was one game last year. I remember, Jalen had 20 something points, 24,
Yep.
26, something like that. And then the
Mm-hmm.
next game, he was in for like 5 minutes. It was just like, because, I mean, Muss is quick to, you make some bonehead plays, poor
Don't
defense,
pull you.
you're going to sit on the bench,
It
which
was a
I think,
layup drill.
oh, yeah. And I think that yesterday, playing the number 3 team that has good guards, we didn't see Joseph Pinion hardly at all. And that just
Mm-hmm.
goes back to he can't play defense.
Mm. It sounds
So,
racist. Oh yeah.
oh yeah, you got me. You know, let's go back
Mm.
to white men can't jump.
Hey man, but the guy can shoot. But we all know Coach is a defensive first guy. Like I said, the reason why I love to see Devo, especially during tournament time, is because his defensive prowess. That guy's relentless on the defensive end, man. So has to have guys who can just play defense. If you can only shoot the ball and make shots when it's key, you're going to get pulled when it's time to be on the defensive end. And that's just how it's going to work. That's how much runs it. So I understand and I respect that. I'm just hoping that everybody can get in line with what he's asking for. Once again, you see it. You see it. Yeah. So, new name, same thing. I think we need to put thing because we're in
Dang.
the South. Yeah, thing.
Okay.
I think people understand that. Yeah. Going from Hog Sports to Hog HQ, baby. Hashtag Hog News. I mean, that's a hell of a logo. Who made that logo?
Hmm.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Hmm. It's
It's pretty
nice.
good.
Yeah. Pretty.
While we're talking about it, I just changed the Hog Sports banner in the group.
Okay.
So now that's up
It's
and changed. It's
it's
official.
it's it's happening. Make sure I go to the comments and be like, it's happening.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, look. Real quick before we get up out of here this evening. It, I'm trying to look forward on the football side of things. I really think that Pittman, he's such a great guy that he won't throw anybody under the bus, and he'll take the brunt of any criticism that's thrown, whether it's to another coach or to a player. I think this is the time where he finally says, "Hey, if I don't do it this particular way, I know it's over." I think he swings for the fences on this little run and try to make it what it needs to be to get to 6 wins. Because let's be clear, even if you're not thinking about it, I'm thinking about this recruiting class. And not just this year, but the following 2 years. That's going to be key when it comes to setting up the program for the future. If we're not setting up to put success around Kane Archer or bust, I don't even know what we're talking about at this point. Like, if you're not talking about 2026 Kane Archer and then say, hey, we got all these pieces already in place before he gets here in 2026, if he commits, I'm just saying that. This is me saying that. Then I feel like we losing out. And even if he decides, Pittman decides between now and then that he wants to retire, because it's the only way he's going to leave, I think. He's going to retire, and they'll let him do it on his own is I think there'll be a transition of how he'll leave out. Whether it's, i.e., we have somebody on the staff already as an interim, or we have somebody that we already talked to, Yurchek, about taking over as a potential head coach. So I don't think it's a way that we actually say, okay, he's fired, he's out of here, or he leaves on his own merit, and we just start from scratch. You can't afford to do that anymore going into where we are with this whole portal situation, NIL situation.
And
So
you
that's
bringing
just
up,
my thoughts.
yeah, bringing up Kane Archer too. Props to him and Greenwood because they snapped Pulaski Academy's 82 home game winning streak
Mm-hmm.
this weekend. So I don't know what the final score was. I think he put up like 5 or 6 touchdowns, but 82 winning game, or yeah, 82 home game winning streak snapped by Greenwood and Kane Archer. He showed out this weekend.
Hey man, that dude is special already.
Yeah,
He's
it
special.
really is.
And like I said, I feel like it's if you get the proper offensive line to um whoever bridges the gap between KJ and Archer if Archer comes, you can really make this program special and leave it in a great place. But that's where the thought process has to be at this point. That we're trying to plan for the future. And I'm gonna go ahead and say this, and some people are not gonna like it. If you want to be a dominant force in college football in 2023, you have to go after the best players in the country. In the country, not in the county, right? That means I don't Hawaii. I don't care. Just go get the best dude that wants to be here, right? So with that being said, if you telling me that there are 5 guys from the state of Arkansas, homegrown talent, that are the best, get that 5. I don't care if the dude dad used to go here and you got to pull him in to play the game, or this guy's a legit 4-star that can go anywhere in the country. You get the best 5 you can get, and you move on and get the best players in the country that can help surround these guys and make it work. Potential. I mean, we got a lot of guys who did great for preferred walk-ons. So I'm not opposed to that being a situation. But I'm like, just handing out scholarships to guys because his dad. Man, the hell with that. I, we just need the best players that want to be here. And that's my thing. I just feel like we can really do it. Coach has the personality to do it. He has the players in place, and he has the staff in place. That's actually who actually are great recruiters. And that's one thing coaches always said: if you can't recruit, you can't be here. So I like what he got on the defensive side of the ball. I'm excited to see what changes they'll do because let's just say we go ahead and say that guy becomes the OC. Well, who do you go after for wide receiver coach? And I'm not saying let's just make a list, but I'm saying like, do you take that time to get a wide receiver coach, or does he do both? And if you do let go of Kennedy, not saying that's going to happen, does Pittman take over the offensive line? I don't know. I don't know what it looks like. I'm just hoping these are conversations that they're having already to put things in place and put things in motion and start reaching out to guys early enough. So when it comes time for bowl season, you can actually get the pick of the litter of who you want.
Yeah, and I mean, you're getting to the bowl games. If we get there, awesome. That's honestly for the way the season starts. That's amazing. Um, I know it's something that a lot of us fans have wanted. Me especially. I mean, smack Mizzou in the mouth at the end of the season, at the end of the regular season. It's one of those things that if we slip up in any of these next 4 games and we're not going to be bowl eligible, I mean, give everything you've got and shut down Mizzou. And I mean, that would be a good way to end the season on a high note, at least.
Correct.
So I mean,
Mm.
these next 4 weeks are going to be huge for the future when I say future, I'm talking the next 2 to 3 years. Because, like you
Absolutely.
said, I mean, we can't take another complete overhaul. So it's one of those that you want. I'm not saying give somebody 8 to 10 years that's going to go 5-7 or 4-8, 6-6 every year in, year out. But at the same time, you know, get in there and give somebody 6-7 years, but they need to produce.
Facts.
We've got to get back to 8-9 wins on the regular, not just a fluke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Matt, you got anything?
Yeah, basically, I don't. The only way I see Pittman getting fired is if we lose to Florida International or Atlantic or
Florida
whatever
International, yeah.
international. That's the only way I see him getting fired. If we say that's the only game we won out, I would think it'd be more of a mutual parting, and more he would probably just retire unless there was a financial contract. Depending on how they worked out that part of it. But if Pittman wants to be here next year, I think he's going to need to win 2 games, and he's going to need to make a change with a
On the staff.
person
Yeah.
on staff.
Understood. That makes sense. And I think at the end of the day, from my understanding, coach didn't want to let anybody go. But once again, he's
Mm-hmm.
so loyal to guys that he has great relationships with. He's willing to take the brunt of everything. And that's why I try to I be on his ass. Pause. But at the same time, I understand. At the same time, I understand why he's in the press saying, and that's on me. I'm the head coach. I have to take responsibility. And I'm looking like, man, I'm sick of hearing this shit. But I understand what he's saying. He's like, dude, I'm not going to throw another coach under the bus just for the sake of, something not going in our favor in the game. I got to take the brunt of that because at the end of the day, I'm the CEO. The buck stops with me type of person. And I have to take responsibility for that. So I respect him for that. I'm just hoping that we have the guys on staff who can actually make those things happen to generate wins down the road and to generate more national conversation about the Razorbacks and see if we can get some national recruits in here.
Yeah.
Hold on, I got some comments real quick before we get going. Next week, we know what it is. Yeah. Maybe you keep him at wide receiver coach. That's a great. Yeah, I'm looking at that because that's interesting. I'm just gonna chime in by myself, really, but I feel like Pippen should have took over offensive line the same way we see Saban work with the DBs. I just feel like he should be able to do both. I really don't. And maybe I'm oblivious to something that's going on, but I'm like, I just feel like if you're the offensive line guru, shit, take over the group. Take over the group. Find some, find something for your other guy to do. I don't know. Save you some money at coach because a lot of people said we shouldn't have a special teams coach. But hell, I like what Coach Pounder's been doing on special teams.
Yeah,
So
man.
yeah, I fool with him. I really fool with him. A friend of mine named Red said, "Punt the ball on downs we don't expect." I I'm sure there's some context to that conversation. A
They're
friend of
telling
mine
us to
named.
punt when they don't expect them to catch them off guards.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
punt
I
on third
got
down, first down. That's a good one.
Well, I've been seeing a lot of before we head out CFL highlights. Did you know you could punt for an onside punt
in the
for a
middle of the play.
first down? Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes.
That's
I
crazy.
mean, like they're innovative over there.
Yeah, we're just
You
so.
got to kick the ball like a foot over the line of scrimmage, and then you could fall on it, and it's a first down. Somebody was like 4th and 30, and they got a first down on a foot punt.
You got to be a hell of an athlete to run the ball, catch the pass, punt it, and then recover it. That's crazy. All right, new strength and conditioning coach probably got nervous when Pittman said we just got whipped. No, he said we got whipped.
He
I gotta
fired the
post that
last
clip.
one.
Yeah, but we know that was well. The ones that know is a whole different situation. Kiffin is a
Mm-hmm.
QB coach. No reason Pitt can't coach O line. Absolutely, I agree with that comment.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes sense.
100%.
Um, Frank was famous for punting on third down. I don't know who Frank is, but
Frank Broyles.
Frank Brooks punted on third down. Anybody remember that? Anybody
I,
seen that on YouTube?
I wasn't born.
Oh, okay. Being honest, I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Anyhow, guys, I got one more and I'm gonna get going. All right. Say how it is, DP. Hey man, I try to. Like I said, I try to just speak the truth. We're unbiased. And before we get out of here, I want to say this. Like, we talked to you in the beginning about the name change. And one of the luxuries about doing what we do is we don't get paid for it. We enjoy doing it. We enjoy vibing with each other and connecting with you guys in these comments. We're not attached to any type of contract that makes us where we can't say certain things. So we love the space that we're in where we can say certain things. Like, for example, this is not a real sponsor. But if anybody knows somebody at Little Debbie that can give me a sponsorship or a box, I'll take it. Matter of fact, matter of fact, if anybody, if anybody, what? Can you see it? Yeah, can you see that?
Gucci.
Yeah, yeah. If anybody can get me some more Gucci shoes and my sandals, I appreciate it. Yeah, we need sponsorships over here, guys. I
Hey,
think we're doing big things, and I think we got bigger things coming with this 20K and this name change. I'm being funny, but at the same time, I'm serious. I really think we're doing a great job. And I just want to say to Matt and Adam, I definitely appreciate you guys for what you contribute to the group. A lot of the inside information that's being brought into the group, the way you've been able to bring in people from outside of the group and get them involved in the information. So just want to say a big thank you to you guys, man, and what's been going on. And I'm excited just to be along for the ride at the end of the day, man.
it's what we're here for, and I'll make sure when I get that signed autographed Steelers jersey in, I ship it out to you.
That's what's up, my brother.
Yeah,
Benny Snell, is that what we're
yeah,
talking about?
yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of those like uh, card memorabilia trading card breaks, and they did autographed jerseys. So going for Baltimore, I picked the AFC North, and because you could pick your division, and lo and behold, it was my first time ever doing it, and I win, and then it's a Steelers jersey, and I'm just like, you got to be shitting me. So,
Got to love it. Here we go, Steelers.
but you guys have a good night, and
All
we'll
right,
get
y'all have a
everything
great one.
changed over tonight.
All
Yeah, we
right.
will.
All right, man.
Hog HQ out. We gone.